Hey there ladies, here's a quick look at our little combo that we worked on for today. It included some, we could call it touches or pushes, and also some turns. So this one we didn't repeat quite as many times with all the turns, we don't want to get dizzy. But it's a cute little combination that could go into lots of different places in some music. With our touches, we sometimes call this like a Turkish step. A lot of times we've used this one coming into a place, but the reason why I'm calling it just a touch here is because instead of going forward with it or back, we were just staying in place and kind of touching our foot out in front. So remember with the Turkish, that involves your hip is twisting in and your toe is coming over in front. And we were really just touching it down there and then going back to touch the other one. Never quite putting our weight all the way down on it because we're not stepping forward. We're just touching out in front. So basically just our toe is touching after our hip has twisted in. And to give it that little accent, we were pointing forward with that hand that is the same side as the hip that's twisting. Just kind of lightly reaching forward, not pancake hands, not pointing at somebody, but just kind of pushing that hand a little bit forward. And then our opposite hand is touching our hair on the side. So we were doing that for 3 times. We would go something like right, left, right, and then we were adding in a little turn. So that right foot that has just touched out, I'm gonna bring that behind and do a crossover turn to the back to get myself around to the front. So my foot was out, it goes around behind to cross over to the front again. And then that way, because my weight was on this right one as I was turning, that makes it easy for me to touch on the left when I get to the front and do that same thing, except now on the left side. So I would go right, left, right, turn, left, right, left, and now the turn is going to be in the opposite direction. Now, immediately after we turn, we're going to start doing a little push. In some cases, we've kind of referred to this as a hagala, except this one is just a little bit different. Our hagala usually has our hip really curving like an inverted figure 8 or a Maya that's inverted. In this case, instead of making that whole big curve though, we're just really lifting the hip up. And we're letting that hip lift push us in the opposite direction. If my right hip is pushing, it's making me go left. If my left hip is pushing, it's making me go right. Our arm movement here was to put our arm up. That's the direction we're going. And our opposite arm comes across to show that we're pushing that way. So we're just gonna do 2 pushes to the right, 1, 2. Here's where we're gonna add in our turn. In this case, we're gonna do a pivot turn. Since my weight is on my right, I'm gonna leave that as my pivot foot, and my left is gonna be the one that steps out and back. So I'm gonna step to the front, step to the back, and now I'm back around. So that hand that was up can start coming down as you're turning. Now we're gonna be pushing that way, so the hand that had gone out can actually come up. The one that had been up comes down so that you can bring it across to start pushing the other way. So we're gonna push to the left, push to the left. Same thing, now my weight is on my left. So as I start my pivot turn, it's gonna be with my right foot going forward and my right arm going out. I need to start bringing that arm up, that was up, bring it down. So I've pushed, now I'm gonna start pivot, pivot, and now I'm back to the front, ready to do where we started with our Turkish steps, our touches we called it, where we were just touching in front of us. So let's see what that looks like to some music. We'll do it a few times. You definitely don't want to do it over and over and over with all those turns. So we might throw in a little bit of figure 8 or snake arms like we did in class, and then do it a couple more times and let it go at that. Just keep that in your toolbox of things that you know how to put together in case you need to put together a segment of music. Now let's just take a little break here, get our balance back. All right, let's go. One more time.